Coming to you from the Lydia Media Studios in the heart of Lewiston, Auburn, it's Lydia's Lunch Bunch, LA's afternoon morning show with Mark, Sarah, and Peyton today. Special guests sitting in for the weather. You'll learn about Peyton here in just a bit. We're covering news and events in the greater LA area and talking to the people making a difference in our community. Give us a listen at lydiamediallc.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And feel free to share your comments, questions, or suggestions via email at podcast@lydiamediallc.com.
And today's show is brought to you by United Piping, serving residential and commercial customers with new installations and repairs. Call today and schedule your oil and gas boiler cleanings at 754-4556. UPI, the best plumbers around. Also brought to you by Ruper's Beverage and Redemption. When it comes to beer, wine, and spirits, don't botch it, squatch it. At 5 locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Oxford. Learn more at rupersbeverage.com. And remember, the party starts at Ruper's.
We have the pleasure of being joined in studio today by the owner of KW Consulting and Design, Kayla Williams. How are you?
I'm good. How are you this morning, Mark?
Doing great. Thanks for joining us today.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And who is this you brought with you?
This is my daughter, Peyton. She's super excited.
She's going to be our meteorologist, our special guest meteorologist for the day.
Oh, yeah. I hope Alex isn't listening.
I know. He's going to get wicked jealous.
He's going to be mad at us.
That's all right.
Took her job.
We'll get to that in just a bit and talk to Kayla all about her new venture coming up here in a few minutes. Before we get there, let's take a look at some headlines for Wednesday, April 9th.
Voters in Sabattis, Litchfield, and Wales voted to close Sabattis Primary School due to declining enrollment and budgetary pressures. Next year, kindergarten and first grade students will attend Libby Tozier School, while pre-K and grades 2 through 4 will attend Carrie Ricker School. No teaching, ed tech, or specialist positions will be cut due to the closure.
The Maine Transportation Committee held a public hearing over several car inspection bills. One would require auto shops to use an electronic system to increase efficiency and decrease fraud. If approved, inspection costs would increase from $12.50 to $20. Another bill would exempt all passenger cars, and another would require inspections every other year.
The Lewiston Public Library's children's librarian, Sarah Turner, won the Lemony Stickett Prize for Noble Librarians Faced with Adversity for 2025. The American Library Association Award recognizes Sarah for her unwavering commitment to community, her resilience in the face of adversity, and her dedication to the principles of librarianship. The Lemony Snicket Prize for Noble Librarians.
Pretty cool, right?
I can't even. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Now you do.
It makes me want to cry. I love it so much.
Congratulations, Sarah Turner. The City of Lewiston will hold its annual brush pickup. The service will be offered during regular trash and recycling pickup during the week of April 22nd through the 28th. For more information, you can visit lewistonmaine.gov.
Oh, is it time for the weather?
Weather! Let's throw it over to Peyton with the weather.
Hello, everybody. I'm doing the weather today, and today it is cloudy with a high of 40 and a low of 23. Tomorrow it will be sunny with a high of 46 and a low of 24. And on Friday it will be cloudy with highs of approaching 50.
Ooh.
Peyton, have you done this before?
You're very good at that.
I haven't.
You're very good at that.
I just want to do it professional.
Oh, well, you certainly
You should
did.
be a meteorologist.
You
You're
did great.
Very good at that. The Red Sox lost to the Toronto Blue Jays 6-1. They'll play again tonight at 6:45.
David Pastrnak scored and added 2 assists as the Bruins beat the New Jersey Devils 7-2. Boston will host the Chicago Blackhawks tomorrow night.
That means Pastrnak hit his 100 points in the season. In basketball, Kristaps Porzingis scored 34 points to lead the Celtics over the New York Knicks, 119-117 in overtime. The Celtics visit the Orlando Magic tonight at 7.
Bates College women's lacrosse will host Tufts University today at 5.
And CMCC baseball will host UMaine Augusta tonight at 6 p.m. And CM softball will host the Moose for a doubleheader tonight at 6 and 7:30.
The Maine Nordiques playoff run begins this weekend at the Colisee. The Nords face off against the New Hampshire Mountain Kings in a best-of-3 series scheduled for Friday at 7:30, Saturday at 7, and, if necessary, Sunday at 3.
But it shan't be necessary.
It won't.
They will not be playing thrice.
No. Nords will take care of business. That is your news, weather, and sports. And right now it is time for the podcast segment that is sweeping the Twin Cities. It's time for famous people birthdays.
They're famous. It's their birthdays. It's famous people birthdays. It's famous people birthdays.
Let's take a look at FPBs for April the 9th, shall we?
Yes, please.
Okay. We're going to start off with Kristen Stewart from Twilight. Kristen is 35 years old today. Actor and model Paulina Porizkova is 60 years old today. She was a cover model in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Also was married to the Cars guitarist and vocalist Rick Ocasek.
Oh.
Yeah, until he died in 2019. Comedian Jimmy Tingle is 70 years old today. Boston comedy legend that I got to work with at the Comedy Studio back about 8 years ago. One of the highlights of my life. I was a big fan of Jimmy. He was on 60 Minutes too, and he also appeared on Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn, The Tonight Show, Larry King's Weekend, and Late Night with Conan O'Brien.
So he's quite a prolific writer, comedy writer, I take it.
He did all the things.
He did all the things.
Did all the important things.
That works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And rounding out FPBs for April the 9th is actor Dennis Quaid, who is 71 years old today. Mm-hmm. I remember him from Breaking Away.
I don't remember that movie.
1979, that movie came out. He was also in The Right Stuff in 1983, The Big Easy in 86, Parent Trap, Great Balls of Fire.
The Parent Trap.
Yeah, he's done a lot of good stuff. Those are your FPBs for April the 9th, and now let's take a look at some OTDs. On this day, 16 years ago in 2009, Parks and Recreation premiered on NBC. It ran for 7 seasons. 32 years ago on this day in 1993, the Colorado Rockies played their first home game at Coors Field and drew a record crowd of 80,227 fans.
Ooh.
41 years ago on this day in 1984, the 56th Academy Awards was held. Irene Cara's Flashdance, What a Feeling, won the Oscar for Best Song.
Love it.
From the movie Flashdance. That's
that
the one. Yep, that is exactly the one.
Beautiful voice.
60 years ago on this day in 1965, the Astrodome opened with an exhibition game between the Houston Astros and New York Yankees. Mickey Mantle hit the stadium's first home run. The Astrodome was the first fully enclosed sports stadium and the first air-conditioned event venue of its size, which sat over 70,000 fans.
Wow.
Also had an indoor chapel and a bowling alley. And finally, 160 years ago on this day, in 1865, the Civil War ended.
Yeah.
Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered to Union General Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia. There you go.
Dun, dun, dun.
Those are your FPBs and OTDs for April the 9th.
Whether you want a sit-down meal or a grab-and-go, Pat's Pizza in Auburn offers delicious sandwiches, pasta, salads, and pizza at family-friendly prices. Pat's Pizza, serving the L.A. area since 1985. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 85 Center Street in Auburn. Online at patsauburn.com.
Now, we shift focus fully to our guest in studio. The spotlight is shining on her. The owner of KW Consulting and Design, Kayla Williams, joins us.
Yay!
Yay! How are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. Thanks for coming out today.
Of course.
This morning and bringing Peyton with you because we might have to bring her
She
back.
is a natural, definitely.
I guess,
I
yeah.
mean, she reads scripts better than I do.
Look into the whole meteorologist
Yeah.
school for her, I think.
Yeah.
I think just reading a script in front of a microphone is perfect for her.
Yep, she did great. Proud mama moment for you?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I already have read lyrics off of my paper because my brother makes music,
Oh,
and
neat.
sometimes I sing in it.
You're a singer too?
She actually has a beautiful voice.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have you as a guest on the show sometime, Peyton. But Kayla, let's talk about KW Consulting and Design. What's it all about? How'd it start? How's it going?
So KW Consulting kind of came about after I ended up leaving radio. When I was working with Bennett Radio, I went with my sales techniques as more of a consulting point of view. And what I found when I was selling advertising was I was never really truly focusing on what was best for the client and what was best for the business owners. And I would have to meet with business owners that literally couldn't afford our services. Obviously, working for major media outlets, the goal was to make as much money for that one media outlet as possible.
Right.
It wasn't really about the business owner's goals and how to get there. We were supposed to convince them, but I wasn't truly convinced myself. Any advertising plan needs a lot of different avenues to work properly. It's not just print, it's not just radio. I was selling advertising to people who didn't even have websites. By the time a customer calls a business owner and sees an advertisement, most of the time they're going to check the website or the social media first, and their decision is already made up by the time they call or they click contact us. But if they don't have a place to go in the first place, it's going to be a lot harder for customers to make that decision. So I had my very first business about 6 months ago, basically paid me to teach myself how to build websites. I basically took all of my knowledge that I had learned in working with marketing and working with radio and working with newspaper. And when I was giving my consultations, I made sure to ask all the questions to all the companies I was working with. And I worked with every type of business, from the medical field to banking to the little farm down the street. And I realized that every single business had different goals. Marketing is not a one-size-fits-all. And most business owners, they are like so insanely busy, they don't have time to figure out what's SEO, what project or what salesperson is actually going to help me. So I wanted to make sure that the little guys, the startups, the ones who are just trying to grow and feed their families, were able to have access to real marketing knowledge and the access to technology that they actually need. Mm-hmm. So far I am working with 10 different companies. I work with a farm all the way to I just got commissioned to help redevelop a website for Robert Wessels, who's running for governor in 2026. So yeah, I just really want to be able to help businesses. I'm partnering with local media groups such as Lydia Media so that I can provide the services and the negotiations and the knowledge that's needed to really have a good marketing plan. I do everything from website design to social media management to handling people's Meta and Google ads.
In working with a lot of businesses, as we do here at Lydia Media, I find that some of them don't have websites and they rely on social media to get the word out. Do you
Correct.
find that as well? And what do you think of that strategy?
Yes, I think they're both important. So what I actually do is I think it's very important that any business needs to start with their foundations first. I mean, you need to throw a foundation down before you can frame a house, right? Before I even let my clients start spending money on ad budget, I make sure that their social media and their website are up. And the reason why is I actually use them to feed into each other. So for example, a lot of people don't realize that simple things like posting on a blog and having extra content actually makes them more visible online. So how the whole internet world, behind the pretty screen works is every time you post something on a website, it takes all the words and basically funnels them into this giant index of literally words, keywords, groups, things like that. So what happens when a website stays stagnant and doesn't do anything is so do the listings. So as you keep feeding the content, it starts throwing or indexing everything back out online. And it kind of, they go, oh, they're important. And so it makes them more visible.
Like brings them to the top
Right.
of
and
the
then
Google search.
the more people that click, the more Google or other search engines see that company as important or that website as important. So one of the best techniques that I use is I actually will post a blog on their website, and then I'll share the blog onto their social media, which will then get people to click from social media onto their website, creating more of an online presence. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of one of the things that I do is I research and implement strategies using social media and websites. And once they get that foundation set, that's when I start adding things like advertising.
And you mentioned earlier that you're partnering with local businesses like Lydia Media. What does that look like? What does that partnership consist of?
So what that partnership looks like is I am hopefully working out an agreement with another radio group. You know, I definitely have goals where if I could partner with everyone, I would. Mm-hmm. But basically what I want to be able to do is, I think one of the big secrets of the marketing world is most advertising does not have a set price. There's not a catalog. A radio station, the newspaper, you're going to find a pricing guide, but it's all a suggestion.
It's pretty flexible.
It is so flexible. It's up to the salesperson. So I was obviously that salesperson. So I've learned that negotiation is a huge part of marketing. And a lot of people don't realize that. The salesperson is going to go in and highball and get as much money as they can. So by creating partnerships, I'm not only able to make sure that that advertiser is invested in that client because of my relationship with them, but I'm also able to make sure that they're able to get their advertising at the most affordable cost, giving them the highest return of investment.
And that way they can diversify and cast a wider net of their advertising.
Precisely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Kayla, tell us a little bit about making the leap into entrepreneurship.
Scary, isn't it?
It's definitely really, really scary. I think one of the biggest struggles when I went in was not having the confidence. I wasn't completely sure that people would take me seriously, I guess is a good way of putting it.
Imposter syndrome got you.
Yeah, I don't know,
But you had a lot of experience, right? You worked in newsprint, you worked in radio.
I actually, most of my background is more in business management. And it's actually one of the things that I use to quote unquote sell myself is the fact that I started out as a manager for a Family Dollar when I was 18 years old and started my first business at 19. I ran a landscape business out of Freeport, which is really cool because I did like a lot of the bigger businesses like Coach and Harry and David.
Oh, neat.
And that 19 years old, I'd get the employee discount on Coach bags.
Ooh.
Because I made their flower gardens look pretty. So that was actually my first taste of entrepreneurship, but it's totally different animal.
There's less at stake when you're 19 years old versus a single mom raising kids.
Yeah. And when I was 19 doing that, I was also a supervisor at a call center. Every single job I've had, I've been like, I want to be the boss.
Oh.
I want to climb up as far as I can go. And I would do that with every single company until I got burnt out, and then I would go to another one. Mm-hmm. And it was really cool because I make this joke that every day is career day.
Ooh, that sounds fun. Let's do that.
So I've done everything from working in a medical field to, like I said, managing in call centers to I literally everything. It's kind of crazy. But I've used all that knowledge of all the different industries to be able to help my clients because I've been through a lot of the same difficult issues that they're having. I'm able to relate because I've had to come at it from a managing point of view.
That feeling of always wanting to go as high as you can in the company and be the boss. That's your tell right there that you belong at the top. You belong being the boss.
That's what I tell myself.
Yeah.
It seems to be working so far.
Yeah.
But no, I've always wanted more. And honestly, one of the things that drove me to do this is, like I said, I literally just felt like I was trying to line people's pockets. Well, I just kind of sat back and struggled. And that's like a really hard feeling when you're, signing 6-figure, 7-figure contracts and you can barely pay rent. And I started realizing that these skills I could literally just do myself and actually help people. I actually use one example when I worked with the newspaper. So I had this one client who she spent a lot of money on advertising, like a lot. And I had to cancel a section of the newspaper. We'd have like special sections, and I would sell features, sell ads for those sections. If I didn't have enough advertisements, then I would have to cancel the section. So this particular advertiser was literally in every section. The only thing that she wasn't in, and it was a small farm, the only thing that she was not in was a healthy living section.
That doesn't make any sense.
Just wait. So my supervisor, when I had to cancel the section, didn't want to lose the money. She didn't care about the client at all. And she said, you need to find a way to get them in the healthy living section. And at that point, I'm like, we're not doing this for the customer. And I sold her the ad. I sold her, the headline was an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And I tried to be creative because, that's a call to action that people might find punny or fun but again, she was already in every section. It wasn't, we were just taking money. And I was just talking about how farms don't have money. So are we looking at it for what's best for the customer, or are we looking at it for what's best for the company? So, like I said, the whole idea behind my business is to make sure that the customers are actually meeting their goals, not just advertising.
Can you take us to the moment where you decided to start this business? That's fascinating to me because that is a huge leap, especially for someone in your position, a mom with young kids. It's a huge leap. And tell us how you came to that decision and what was your first step?
It was not an easy one. So one of the clients that I was working with, he couldn't afford when I was working with the radio. He just couldn't afford it. He's like, I am a small farm. I don't know what to do. And he basically told me his story. He explained how apparently if you don't have so many acres of farmland, the government won't even let you insure it to a certain point. So if you have a frost or whatever and all your crops are gone, you're just screwed.
Oh.
So, yeah. So the manager of this farm had just left his full-time employment to help. I believe it was his uncle. It was a family member of the farm. And he started making partnerships with local companies. He upped the social media end. But he's like, I can't do a website. So naturally, I tried to sell him products that I had available to me, and they were just not affordable. They weren't, even on a monthly basis, it just was not feasible for a small farm who just dealt with a terrible previous season. So that was the company that essentially paid me to teach myself. I charged him I barely made any money on it. I basically used it as my skill. And I stayed up late nights and taught myself and built this product for him. And I believe, I can't quite quote my numbers, but I believe he said he did like 5 times the revenue.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing. It just having that digital presence changed that company, which was absolutely amazing. So I'm like, you know what? I might be onto something.
Maybe.
I might be onto something. So I met with another company. And it was another company who, again, they couldn't afford radio. And this particular client had just moved from out of state. He had a very unique business. He does window tinting. And he said, Kayla, I barely know how to use the internet. He's like, I don't use social media. I don't have a website, but I need to get the word out. His location is literally in the middle of nowhere in West Paris. He was very nervous about I don't charge a lot. I'm actually very transparent. My prices are on my website. I want everyone to see exactly what they're getting. So this particular client I started with 6 months ago, and he has blown up. He is booked all the time. He actually told one of his customers a couple of weeks ago, he goes, Kayla made my business blow up. And that feels amazing to me. And I started realizing, I could do this full time. I could totally, I can do it. And I purposely started very slow. I did one client at a time and made sure that I could perfect each client first, perfect each skill before I started doing it on a mass level. And then I was actually an operations manager for a dealership chain. And if anyone knows what an operations manager does, it's literally everything. So, I was HR, I was payroll, I was finance, I wore all the hats, and I was running this business. And my business, I probably gain a client every at least week or 2. Obviously, every one of those clients, it's more than just sales. I have to actually do it, and I have to do it well. So I started becoming overwhelmed with running somebody else's business while running my own. And once I got to the point where I felt comfortable financially going all in with my list of clients, I decided to jump. And I do have amazing support from our business community. I actually just am working on sealing up a partnership agreement with the Sebago Lakes Chamber of Commerce. I've been in discussions with the Oxford Hills Chamber of Commerce. I've been helping with some of the startup sessions for the LA Chamber. So I'm working on building these relationships so that the word can kind of get out there to small business owners and startups, that there is help out there and that it can be easy and affordable.
And where can folks go to learn more about your business?
So I do, like I said, I have a website, kwconsultinganddesign.com. I joke that my program is kind of like a Netflix subscription for marketing. You can literally go onto my website, and if you have social media, if you need help with your social media, you need help with your website, or you just need advice, you can start everything online. If you need more help than what you see, I help also connect people with resources that they need.
Good stuff. Anything else about your business that you would like our listeners to know?
I think the most important thing is, like I said, that business owners don't have to do it alone. And I'm really just here to help small business owners, startups really help navigate the really difficult world, especially the digital world. I know so many customers talk to me and they're literally like, Kayla, I'm lost. I have no idea what any of this is. I see that I'm doing things, but for some reason, people in California are seeing my ads and they're not going to spend money with me, when I have a small farm in Maine.
Right.
So.
You got a geo-target. Locally owned and locally focused, Lydia Media celebrates the heart of the greater Lewiston-Auburn area through 2 magazines, Uncle Andy's Digest and LA Metro Magazine, and the new Lydia's Lunch Bunch podcast. Each production shines a positive light on local businesses, nonprofits, events, and individuals making a difference in our community. Keep your advertising dollars local and position your business in front of your target audience with Lydia Media. Learn more at lydiamediallc.com. We like to close the show with a segment called 3 Random Questions, where we ask you things that have nothing to do with marketing or consulting or design.
Sounds perfect.
Or social media. We're just going to get to know you a little bit. Kayla, if you were presented with a time machine and you could take one round trip, where would you go?
That is a hard one because part of me, that I don't want to make it political, but I don't think any woman wants to go back in time. Probably the future.
The future, you'd pick going ahead?
I'd pick going ahead. I'd be really interested to see how much we screwed up the world.
So you're full of hope.
Tons of it.
All right.
I'm an optimist.
Sounds good.
Mine's easy. If you could fill a room full of soft, cuddly baby animals, what animal would you choose?
Kittens, obviously. Yeah.
Okay.
Like all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All kittens.
All the kittens.
All the time.
All the kittens.
Every single one.
Yeah,
of
like
them.
even like the tiger kittens.
Yeah.
And the,
Baby cats of any kind.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is good.
Keeping your professional skills out of this question, what could you teach someone to do today with 100% certainty?
I could teach someone how to draw SpongeBob.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. My weird hidden well, it's not really that hidden.
You'll have to draw him on our
Yeah,
dry
we've
erase
got-
board before
I will
you go.
totally do it.
Please,
right.
we'll take a picture. We'll post it.
I have my hidden artistic talent. I I still paint and draw. I used to literally just draw every day, all day, and I don't know why, but SpongeBob is just one of those things I can literally draw in 30 seconds, and I don't even really care about SpongeBob, so I don't get it.
You're
Have
one
you
of the-
ever seen SpongeBob the musical?
Oh my God. So, yeah, I tried.
It's good.
I tried.
Oh, I saw it at Lyric Theater a couple of weeks ago, and it was amazing. I thought they did a really good job.
Was it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the whole thing as part of my problem. I
Oh,
only
yeah.
saw bits and pieces.
Okay.
Even now, I'm like so bad about watching TV. As you can imagine, even with my client load now, I barely get time to myself.
All right, we're gonna have Kayla draw SpongeBob on our
Super
dry
duper.
erase board, and we'll
do
share
it.
the picture on our Facebook as well. Kayla, it's been a lot of fun.
Thanks, Kayla.
There's no way
thanks for
there's
joining
gonna
us
be a
today.
SpongeBob the musical.
And Peyton, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, take care, everybody. Thanks to our sponsors, Ruper's Beverage and Redemption and United Piping. And if you'd like to be part of the Lydia's Lunch Bunch advertising family, reach out to Pam via email at pam@lydiamediallc.com.
Have a great day. And remember, don't bite your cat.